Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another episode of Koze Daily Brew. Today we're going to be talking about strengths and how our strengths can look completely different in different seasons. In fact, they kind of should. I am a big believer that in different phases of our lives and in different times of our lives, we're kind of pulled to, show up for ourselves in different ways. There's this quote that I heard once. I remember hearting it on We Heart It forever ago, and I had it as my banner forever. I don't know who said it, but it was basically along the lines of every and each chapter of your life is going to demand a different you. And so I feel like this is an important topic to talk about because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like for me anyways, 2019 has felt like a big shift in internally and externally just who I am as a person. I don't think I'm completely changing into a new person by any means, but I definitely feel like I've entered a new level of my life. That's a very good way to put it, is that I feel like there was that level and then there was this awkward, I was kind of not struggling for a little while there, but I feel like there was this weird in between as I morphed into this new level. And now that I'm in a different phase of my life, I think it's one of those things that if you're not conscious of it right away and you're not aware of it right away, you might still be putting old limiting beliefs or expectations from an old chapter in your life on this new chapter of your life. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this today, because I feel like when you are aware that maybe something that used to work for you in the past, or maybe something that used to be a strength for you in the past is something that you're expecting out of yourself today or in this new phase of your life, that a lot of the times that can kind of restrict and limit your thought process and limit your flashlight, if you will, of your consciousness to, highlight the things in yourself that are not showing up. There might be things that you're waiting for. There might be things that you're kind of wondering even about yourself, why am I having so much trouble with this? Or why am I finding that my thoughts are going here with this or that? And I guess what it boils down to is a lot of the times we kind of wait for old habits and old patterns to kick in. But when you're in a new phase and in a new chapter of your life, your strengths are going to look a lot different, and so are your weaknesses. Right now, we are in the summertime. It's July, and come our next season of Koze Daily Brew, we're going to be in September. Even the strengths that we are needing from ourselves right now, right here in July, they're going to be so different than the strengths that we're going to need from ourselves come September. Because I guess in a lot of ways, the ingredients of our life is going to be different. We tend to go through shifts and changes, I at least think, every 3 weeks, every 3 months, and every 3 years. And so if you take a pretty good look at your life, you might notice that bigger changes happen over 3 years. Those medium changes happen over 3 months, and a lot of little tiny mini changes tend to happen over 3 weeks. For instance, the way you feel about a situation will change usually within 3 weeks. The way a situation is actually unfolding will usually change within 3 months. And a lot of the times, the situation that you might be thinking about or worrying about or stressing about won't really even matter or be relevant to your life in 3 years, or it will have been a stepping stone to a completely new situation in 3 years. So when you look at life that way, it might make it a little easier to think, okay, when I say look back on a time in your life that you remember feeling really strong with yourself, just really connected and really in your zone. And when you highlight the strengths that were working for you at that time, how long has it been since you've been there? If it's been only just a few weeks, it might just be that your feelings are shifting. If it's been a few months, it might actually be that, your habits are changing, or maybe your surrounding circumstances are changing. And if it's been a few years, then it might be that you are actually changing. You as an individual, you're growing, you're expanding, you are becoming more empowered within who you are. And so, yes, you are going to notice that strengths that you used to have were huge, monumental strengths at one point in your life. But that might mean that they start to go and fall behind the newer strengths that you're learning now. And so if you feel like you're kind of going through a weird phase or a weird season in your life, hang tight, even just by September when we're chatting again. We're not done chatting here. We still have quite a few daily brews to go through in July, but I just mean think of it come September, or let alone November. Will that be the 4th or the 5th season of Daily? That will be the 4th season of Koze Daily Brews. Come our 4th season of Daily Brews, what will we be talking about then? Who will we be then? What will have changed by then? And will all the things that we're worrying about or looking for even matter as much when we get there? We expect a lot out of ourselves and we expect a lot out of our lives. And I think that a lot of the times with that expectation, we only expect to see just the things that we want to have control over, or we feel comfortable with, or we already do feel like we do have a good rein on. And so it kind of keeps us constricted from being able to open up to new strengths, to open up to seeing like, okay, yeah, like maybe your old strength is becoming a weakness, or maybe that old strength just isn't working so much for you anymore. What is working for you now? Shine your flashlight somewhere else. Notice a new place in your life that you're feeling really just competent in and really fulfilled by, because you might notice that, let's say, I don't know, the only thing I can pop into my head right now that's like a good example for this whole concept is, let's say you used to be a runner, and running used to be your way of just releasing and therapy and expression, but now you find when you run you don't feel that way anymore. Suddenly you might notice that when you're hitting the gym and you're strength training, you're getting that same feeling that you used to have from running. So it's a completely new strength. Not that that old strength isn't a strength for you anymore, it's a new phase, it's a new season of your life. And I guess in a lot of ways this whole concept is really just keeping yourself open to just changing and empowering yourself and growing as an individual, and knowing that a lot of the times the ingredients that made the perfect cocktail for your life before might need to be swapped out, switched, or even just changing just the doses of those ingredients in order to find your kind of bliss point in your life right now. And that is pretty much where all the fun comes in, because then that means you get to start playing around with all those ingredients to find your bliss point. Long story short, I feel like there's been quite a few seasons that have passed in the last little bit that I've just been very reflective on. And the thing that I'm noticing each time I reflect on a whole new season is that I'm noticing that new things are popping up in my life and new strengths are popping up in my life. And that makes me a little nostalgic, because I think I have a thing with just like, I guess, romanticizing like old phases of my life, where I'll just like look back and be like, oh, but that was such a nice little pocket of time of just spending weeks like, you know, doing this, or writing Catcher is a perfect one. Like I still go back and I get that like weird nostalgic feeling in my stomach when I think about writing Catcher, but I fulfill it in a new way now while writing Catching, even though I'm doing it in a completely different way. Wow, that was a much better metaphor for what I was trying to say there. But long story short is, with each season, you're gonna have new strengths, you're gonna have new weaknesses, and each chapter of your life is going to demand a completely different you. But that's what's so fun about it, because you get to play around with who you are, you get to remain open and just fun with life and light with life. And when you don't take life so seriously and you don't take yourself so seriously, you're able to kind of show up and show yourself what you're made of, and that's kind of half the fun. So there you guys have it. That is my little insight on seasonal strengths, I guess, for today. I ended up going a little, sideways with that one, but I hope it made some sort of sense. And aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me this morning, and I will talk to all of you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.